Hey, Sean Burns. Paul Condefear in front of the whiteboard. Probably easier to show you on the whiteboard than it would be on the boat. And especially since all the planks are off now. But so your your these your here's like three planks, and your plank seams in between. The reason you don't want to caulk them, is if you, let's say, this is kind of what I learned about 35 years ago on my own. I made this mistake. One winter day, I went out and my plank seams were like wide open on my boat that was stored out in the garage. And it was a winter day. The air is more arid in the winter. It can't hold as much water because it's colder, and the amount of water that air can hold depends on its temperature. The warmer it is, the more water vapor the air can hold. So if I've got arid wood or arid air, then then water moves from the wood to the air, and the wood shrinks further. So I went out one day and saw this, and I went out and bought some caulk, some marine caulk, and I filled the spaces in between the wood with caulk. And then when I put the boat in the water, there was no place for the planks to expand because the space had been taken up by caulk. And pretty much any caulk that you buy is going to keep the planks from expanding effectively. And then if you miss a little spot of caulk, like right here, if you have a little spot that you missed, then this caulk on either side is keeping that gap from closing when the planks do expand. And of course, then that creates a leak. The other thing that happens is when the planks expand and there's no place for them to go, they buckle. They may buckle down and actually pull a screw through the plank. They may crack. Then they may buckle the opposite direction and pull screws out on either side of the plank. And when you're up against a frame, the plank might end up looking like that. And so that's why you don't caulk. Another reason you don't caulk is eventually you'll have to change the caulk, and people go in there with a razor knife and they run the razor knife down either side of the joint, either side of the plank seam, and what they're doing is ripping or cutting up, slashing the canvas layer that is below this. And when your boat was built, you had your frames, and then you had diagonal planking, and then you had a layer of canvas on top of the diagonal planking. That was your waterproof layer. And then you had your longitudinal planking that protected your canvas from all the stuff that's not supposed to be in the lake. So if we start taking a razor knife down through these plank seams, we just cut the waterproof layer, which is your canvas, we just cut it to shreds. So those are the reasons that you don't caulk. The product is called Slick Seam that you're supposed to use. We bought the last remaining 100 yards in captivity, and we've maybe got 10 or 15 of them left. Of course, you won't need those now. Now people are substituting a wax ring for a toilet. And so what it is the heavy wax. The heavy wax goes in, you trowel the heavy wax between the seams, and then when the planks expand, they just push out however much wax needs to be pushed out in order to still maintain some wax in the seams, in the plank seams. And you would think that running down the lake at 30 mile an hour, it would scour that wax out of the area between the plank seams, but it does not. It stays in there very well. And that stuff lasts for 3 or 4 seasons before you have to renew it. Anyway, that's the story on why you don't plank or caulk planks. That may be helpful to a lot of people, hopefully, that watch this channel. And anyhow, now curiously, on your boat, the fiberglass job that was done, they glassed just the plank. They did not glass over the joint. The joints were still filled with bathroom caulk, and it was a low-grade caulk, let me tell you. And the planks were fiberglass here, but there was no fiberglass over the seams, which is really odd. I've never seen a boat fiberglass that way. My guess is, I haven't inspected the planks, but my guess is the planks are cracked, and they were trying to solve that problem of the planks being cracked. And they didn't want to, the thing that happens when you fiberglass and you bridge these seams is then, the planks can't expand and contract because of the fiberglass. And and you really need that expansion to help seal off your plank seams, which were never intended to be waterproof seams to begin with. But curiously, they fiberglassed just the plank, and if they had fiberglassed over the seams, the other thing that happens is you put super hard material. You put this polyester resin between the seams, and it is really hard. It's definitely not going anywhere. And we took the bottom off of a boat. If you look on our website, we're doing a boat, a 1954 Riviera, and we took the bottom off of that boat, and all of those planks were all buckled. And they had put planks on new and then fiberglassed the bottom to make it. They did a 5200 bottom and then fiberglassed it to make it more better. And basically they ruined it. So the 5200 bottom was really not. It was really not a 5200 bottom. They put plywood on with 5200, and they called it a 5200 bottom. Then they put new planks on and fiberglassed those, and it was an abomination. So anyhow, hopefully that's helpful to everyone that's watching this, and we'll talk to you soon, Sean.